A management buyout's an alternative form of succession. So maybe a trade sale isn't the right route, or perhaps the management team have come to you as the owner manager, saying we're really keen to buy the business.
Yeah, it can feel a little bit nicer because you're not dealing with that unknown third party in the same way as a trade sale. That said, I think one of the concerns around doing a management buyout is the funding and not being able to get as much cash on day one as you might if you were to sell to a third party, be it a trade sale. However, that's not quite true. I think the worry can be that the management team need to deliver that funding personally. But the business can actually look to fund its own management buyout.
Yeah, that's a really common sort of misconception that people have about doing a management buyout, and something that we frequently, in the first meeting, people will say, well, I can't possibly buy the business because I'd have to remortgage my house, or I don't have hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank. It'd be nice if you did, of course. But it is in fact the company which more or less funds the buying of itself through the structure that we create, and there are external funding sources available for this. So there are buyout funds in the private equity world. That tends to be just for the larger businesses, and banks are to some extent willing to loan money against future cash flows of the firm, structured debt as they're called, and to the extent that you're not able to fund it externally, often you will see vendors step in and provide deferred consideration over a period of time to help their team buy the business, because it's about their legacy, isn't it?
That's it. It gives you the opportunity to realize your value, but also provide the legacy of your business to the people that you've worked with for a very long time, and give them that exciting opportunity to take it forward.
Yeah, I mean, the risk from your seller's point of view, your vendors, is that whilst the deferred consideration remains outstanding, they are then they're providing banking services to the company, aren't they, effectively? So
there is an element of that, yes.
Yeah. So all the time that they haven't been paid, they are relying on their management team to continue to run and grow the business successfully. It's absolutely crucial that you have faith in the team that are doing it. We've done a lot of management buyouts over the years, and I think what we've learned from experience is that the ones that go really well is where you've got a well-established management team who are in place, ideally where they're driving the process, because they're coming to you with an ambition, a growth, a vision for what they're going to do with things. They're able to contribute a bit of money themselves, because it is good to have some actual personal investment as part of the process. The ones which we've seen go less well, I would say, are where
seller forced, aren't they? Forced might be too strong, but seller motivated.
Yeah, so if your management team feel like the deal's been done to them, there's much less enthusiasm and passion for it, because where it's over leveraged, as well. So a business can fund its own acquisition, which is great over a period of time. But if that uses up all of the cash and all of the debt capacity, that can then stifle growth.
Yeah. And it's a mentality change for that management team, because while they might, on a day-to-day basis, even on a big picture strategy basis, run this business 99% of the time, to go from there to being a shareholder is quite a big adjustment, and that's not always a fit.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a difference between an employee and an entrepreneur, right? And the founder of the business had that entrepreneurial vision and set off to do something. If somebody who's been in a management role for years, they might not have that kind of mindset, and it is a big adjustment.
Yeah, other than the lack of need to search for your buyer, the process isn't terribly dissimilar from that of a trade sale process.
That's right. So you would negotiate and agree an offer, heads of terms between the management team and the vendors.
And then once you've got that in agreement, the management team will, of course, still need a third party law firm from yourself to be able to negotiate the legal contractual terms of the transaction.
That's right. I mean, whether you need due diligence or not depends on how you're funding the deal. So if you've got private equity buyout fund, or you're raising structured finance from the bank, then almost certainly they'll want financial and legal due diligence. But one of the major advantages to a seller, particularly if it's a vendor-funded deal, is you don't have to go through that process, because the team have been running the business for years. They already know.
Which keeps the costs down. It also typically moves a lot faster because you haven't got the reliance on a bank or funding partner. That said, typically then you're going to see far less cash on day one as a result of that.
That's true. But management buyout is certainly a viable option for many owner-managed businesses.